right, coming to you
from the San
live.
Francisco Bay Area. It's time for Zig in the Zone with Ralph Zig Tycho.
Coming to you live. I overstepped my bounds and I forgot we had the AI voice on it. Coming to you live from Alameda, California. Give it up for Ralph Zig Tycho and Zig in the Zone. I gotta take that
Hey,
AI voice out of there if I'm gonna go over.
yes, I tell me what you think of AI in general.
Ooh. Yeah, that's really a hard subject just to brush the stroke on, but it's a fabulous thing for technology. It's a scary thing for mankind.
It's going to replace a lot of jobs. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's the gist of it, right? That's what they tell us. We're gonna lose a lot of jobs. Yeah, but I think we're always losing jobs. We're always losing technologies. We're always losing some of yesterday, right? It's all about what
Yeah,
we do with. It's always what we do with today, reinventing jobs, inventing new jobs that would never happen because of AI. There's gonna, believe it or not, there's gonna still need people with imaginations and everything else to stir the pot with the eye or in this case give it something to do, at least for a while. And why I said it's going to be scary for mankind and kind of already is that people are starting to take AI as humans. We see images and short videos and people like, oh my god, did you see that the guy was running down the street and all of a sudden here comes a cyclops and a dinosaur and Godzilla are loose in downtown San Francisco? And it's like, it looks so real. Well, yeah, sure, it looks so real. It wasn't a movie. Somebody prompted AI. um
it
even
wasn't
the
ice.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
It wasn't ice, was it?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the scariest thing we'll see in San Francisco. But
Oh,
no, I think it's that stuff. I think it's creative. It's fun. Creatively, it could be a shortcut for some other people. For other people, it could be like a drug where it's expanding on something that you already have inside of you. So where I've used AI is I've taken it and used it when I don't know the medium I'm dealing with, i.e., or I'm not good at the medium that I'm dealing with, like images and logos and stuff like that. I'm not really artistic in that way. I can't draw. So I will take a really crude rendering, if you will, a stick figure, and put an explanation to it, and it will render what I want. Um, the other times I've used it is after I've exhausted I've used it in writing, even, where I always thought it was a taboo as a comedian, as a writer. You should never use AI. I've used AI with things that I've written out to the nth degree that I don't think I have any more in me to talk about that subject. That was something I learned from George Carlin's the School of Carlin, that you take whatever your concept or whatever you're writing about and expand on it so much that you have nothing. You've ran out of steam. There's no more on the road that you can do. You can't go anywhere else with it. I've taken that stuff and put it through the AI machine. One, so that the AI that I work with knows me. Two, that I can use that as a reference point. And three, it has actually shown me other stuff. And some of it's been junk, and some of it's been like, oh, that's a fresh set of eyes. And the person you're talking with, the AI bot, if you talk with it enough, it's like your own best friend. It's like your biggest cheerleader. It's like a parent that a fully supportive parent or mentor. It never will give you negative feedback. Um,
Oh,
it usually tells you, "Oh, that's such a great idea. Oh, that's so you. You should keep going." And then so it's encouraging. Um, and sometimes it definitely has rose covered colored glasses on. It sees it's so much of a cheerleader for you that it will give you false hope. Like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing. Oh, this is perfect. Keep going." And it could be shit. It could be shit what you're writing and putting into it, and it would like it.
do you find yourself talking to it like it's a human?
I have. I have. And sometimes it's easy to dictate a concept or for me to explain myself in words um, quicker, and I can get the whole thought across when I'm verbally saying it versus when I'm typing it in. I can talk quicker than I can type.
Right.
And
Well,
I can think about an idea, and I could probably go pull up the AI bot right now and come up with something. Like last night I was thinking of stuff, but I just wrote it in my notes. I didn't put it through an AI bot because I usually don't put a concept into an AI bot. I usually will put a fully hashed out piece of writing and stick it in the AI blender and see what it tells me.
gotcha.
Because I want my part of the writing and the art to really come out first and foremost. And usually I've never performed anything that AI has given me. Even though I've taken old ideas, old sets of mine, and put them through the blender, there's a couple things where it came up with ideas that I thought, wow, that kind of helps me segue from this point to that point, and I never saw that before. And the bot did. Because I actually have an hour's worth of material that I want to perform in front of a live audience. I just don't know exactly in what order, and I need to work it a little bit more before I like if somebody goes, "Oh, I've got the perfect venue and you can have it next week." I could do it. I wouldn't be able to fill it because I'd like to fill a 200, seat room, but I'd want to fill the room and I would want to have the set down in the order that I want it. But I have my hour and I just need to record it. And I just have to stock the pond. I have to, you know, get the venue and get the situation going. But before that, I need to workshop this last bit, my last hour, and figure out exactly how it's going to go down. And AI has shown me to give me some transition because even though I'm pretty good at transitioning from one topic to another, um, it gave me a couple ideas on that, and I was like, oh, you're right. I can stick these two together. And then I
Ha-
noticed that my current comedy set leans a lot more towards political where I don't want it to. But enough about me and
right.
AI and comedy. What
Well,
what
I
do
have a question.
do you
Will
do
it
you
help
still do
you
you, I'm
as a
sorry, do you still write?
comedian?
Go ahead.
Will it help you as a comedian in terms of developing a punchline? Or,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
okay,
Do you want to let's play for a second because, this is what we're doing, right? So
yeah,
let's think of a funny concept right now. Because you and I are both writers, we both kind of pride ourselves on it. Let's think about some of the stuff um, that's going on with Trump. What's currently going on? We know there's the Venezuela thing, there's the Epstein files, there's all that shit. But what's currently going on with him? What's
hey,
developing?
there's ICE troops in our country, and this fucker is thinking of invading not only Venezuela, but Greenland and Cuba and shit.
Right.
Is this the
Oh, I've
beginning of the
oh I've got
end?
um yeah, no, but people I think his side are really starting to see, right? His side are really starting to see what's up with him. I think these people that said, wait, hold on, he said on day one he was going to take care of inflation. On day one, he said he was going to take care of immigration, which he is kind of doing the immigration, which is scary. But he's doing it the wrong way. And then we weren't going to get into any wars. We weren't going to get into regime changes. There was a lot of stuff that he said that on day one that was going to happen or not going to happen anymore. And one of the things was going into wars. And now he's literally listing off countries, and they're all allies, like Greenland. Get over the Greenland thing.
He wants to get out of fucking NATO.
Well, here's the funny thing is that apparently we've had an agreement since like 1951 that we could build as many military bases as we want there, but we only have one currently because we found it wasn't as strategic as he thinks it is. He just wants to keep his eyes on everybody's oil tankers. That's what it is. China's oil tankers, and so does Russia's oil tankers go in there. And so that's why he wants it.
But this is oil that can't be refined for 10 years. It's going to take 10 years to derive anything.
Well, so there's a good, hold on. So we were talking about what AI can do. So one of the things that was in the news was that Exxon kind of said, well, it's going to cost too much money for that. It's not viable for them to go into Venezuela and produce. And so Trump got all pissed off and got all nasty. So my thought is that it's kind of ironic that even greedy motherfuckers like Exxon are turning down the choice of turning up Mother Earth for it. So let me see here. Let me just dictate into it. Yeah, nice to meet you too. All right, hold on. Yesterday in the news, when Trump brought in all the oil companies to see if they wanted to help in the production of Venezuelan oil, the Exxon CEO said it wasn't viable because of what was happening in Venezuela and how much it would take to produce their oil. I think it's pretty ironic, considering all my past writings, what kind of one-liner or even a short bit about it can I perform on stage? Trump called the big oil CEOs and asked them to fix Venezuelan oil, and the Exxon CEO said, I can't fix it with my Wi-Fi at home. You want me to fix the whole country? Punchline bit. Trump wants oil companies to drill in Venezuela like it's Starbucks franchise. And Exxon CEO, sir... Oh, wait, hold on. Trump wants oil companies to drill in Venezuela like it's a new Starbucks franchise. And Exxon CEO's like, sir, we can't even open a Starbucks in here. Ironic. It's ironic Trump wants overnight oil fixes, but Exxon says Venezuelan's oil is uninvestable. That's like asking me to go to the gym. Sounds great until you see the treadmills. Trump's like, go fix Venezuelan's oil. Exxon's like, yeah, but the place is a mess. It's the same conversation I have with my mom every time she asks me to clean my room. And then it asked me, hey, Paul, if you want, I can tailor a bit in your comic persona, whether it's sharper political roast territory a la George Carlin or more self-deprecating observational comedy. So it's like a writing partner. It's asking me if I want to do this and share. So it has enough of my writing, enough of my samples that it knows it's me. One thing I've been doing with it is I had a whole bunch of screenplay pitches that I had been working on for a long time. and they're only like a couple pages long because they're like what do they call it? Screenplay treatments. They're only just to give you an idea, a synopsis like. And I ran those through and it refined them to where they weren't as long and lengthy and weren't they were edited down and they were even formatted to print. And so I was like, well, thank you for doing all the hard work, fucker. And so
It's Mr. Fucking.
I love AI in a lot of ways. It takes some of the hard work. After I finish something and I want it formatted in a printable format, bam, it's done. Oh,
Hmm.
I needed to be
What frustrates you about it?
I've even I'm sorry.
What frustrates you about the system?
Um Nothing. I kind of think of it as a tool.
Okay.
When I you have to read it, you have to read everything that comes out of it, which is fine because even when it still tries to have my voice, a lot of the time I have to go back and correct it and say, "Oh no, that's not funny," or "That's not me," or and so there's times where I've had to correct something, um, and it wasn't just factual. Sometimes I have had to correct. I'm also writing an autobiography, and
Oh,
my autobiography, after I've written each section, I've stuck it through the AI blender, and it's formatted it. And so it was funny because it actually used a reference that not only I wouldn't use, but it wasn't of that time period. And so I was like, oh well, it was like it was referencing me as a kid in the 70s, and it was talking about how I was, the internet. And I'm like, the internet wasn't happening in the 70s when I was a kid or something like that. And so you have to tell it stuff. Um,
right.
like I wrote a bit, one of the things I wrote about my, um, I guess it's going to be part of my biography, which is going to be about how I wasn't raised by a father. I was raised by like Johnny Carson as my illegitimate dad. And so I always dreamed that, because, he had so many ex-wives and everything else. I figured he had definitely been with my mom and I'd been misplaced and left behind. And so he was going to come back in one of his fancy cars and take me to Hollywood or at least to Burbank so we could do the show together. And so, the whole time it's a fantasy. Some kids thought of being a rock star. I thought of being um whatever, Robin Williams or George Carlin or Johnny Carson in this case. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I wrote a bit about how I was raised by late night television hosts and I was raised by the TV. I was definitely a latchkey kid. My best friend was a TV for a lot of years. Um, it's how I developed. That's
Who is
probably why
that?
it's probably why I'm all fucked up too, but that's another story.
Who is that? Your best friend? Tell
The
me about
TV.
him.
The TV. The TV was my best friend.
Okay. Yeah, I understand
I
now.
was raised by my TV because even when I look back from ages, I don't know, 10 to 20, even just that decade right there. Yeah. TV, if you said, who's some of your best friends, it would have been literally like probably late night television. Even when I was getting older and I was getting closer to 20, I was like 17. I was so into David Letterman, the Letterman show, which was so irrelevant at the time. Um, I always loved Carson. I loved Carson until he went off the air in 92. Um, and so that was the year my son was born. I was 25, and that was emotional. When Johnny Carson cried on his last show, I cried. I was there with him. I was watching it. And so, yeah. Do me a favor,
It's not
reset.
the first time he cried. I've seen clips recently of his humanity, and
Yeah, he kind of kept that on the down low, right? He didn't let anybody know that he was doing all this stuff.
right, right. He just, but he was seriously flawed, as most of us are himself, and he recognized it in his guests. And the ones he liked, he gave them a free rein to be themselves on the air, and had to love him for that.
Right. No, I did. I mean, and he's still a mentor to me today. And matter of fact, I'm gonna do something really quick. I'm gonna give us a shout out while you reset your mic for me. Hey guys, make sure you guys find us wherever podcasts can be seen and heard, and check out, go like, subscribe, and ring that little bell for Comfortably Zoned on Facebook, Z.Zagman on Instagram. We got Ralph Zig Tycho on YouTube, on the Comfortably Zoned network, and then my page over on Twitch, which is Paul Brumbaugh 67 on Twitch. Go check us out. Please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever that can be seen and heard. And then we will go back live in studio. I believe you reset your mic. It sounded like you did. I can only... Cool. Yes, you
Is
sound
that
great.
better?
Yes, you do. And I brought you back on. And I didn't even have you squelch or click, and nobody will even know that happened other than me telling everybody.
No, we keep secrets from the world that way,
Well, it's kind
and
of behind the it's a behind the scenes look on what we do. So there we go. You guys didn't have to hear him unplug and plug back in. It only clicked in my ear. So there we go.
that's because you're a great producer,
Sure. That's what it is. All right.
and
So
you
what are we
really
talking
are.
about today? What are we going to talk about today? We have so many things that
Well,
we can
we
and
have
should
so
talk
many
about.
things. I want to pay respects, homage, if you will, to the late Ms. Kennedy. Um,
Rebecca Ward Kennedy.
Rebecca Ward Kennedy. I go back um, to the days 35 years ago,
Okay.
at the time I was starting out in comedy. She was too. And I found her to be a kind person, among an interesting and sympathetic to life's problems. Um, I'm going to miss
Let,
her.
let me see if I can show the picture I posted yesterday. Here. There we go. So this is at Comedy Day.
Uh,
This is Rebecca, Danny, and myself. And I think this goes back 3 years, so it's 2022. So
yeah, and ironically, uh, her and Danny were big in FCC when we were there,
right.
um, and they were
They had Radio Ha Ha was their show. Radio Ha Ha.
right. I say this respectfully. Couple of strange birds in a.
Well,
Am I
and you
right?
know what? That's a compliment coming from us because
Yes,
we're a couple strange
absolutely.
birds.
We
So
like strange. We
yeah,
like unusual.
we flock to, or we congregate around strange birds. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm with you. You know,
like
that's
each
one thing I
other.
said is that I always liked her candor. I remember her just being very honest. And even if it wasn't the most popular thing to say, which reminds me of myself in so many ways. Shit just
Mm.
flies out of my mouth, and that's how I feel.
And then you got to go, oh, what did I say there? That's
Yeah,
what have
I
I
never.
said that?
Weren't you taught by your parents you got to look both ways before you cross the street? You look to the left, then you look to the
Right.
right, and then you look back to the left one more time. And so
Exactly.
I
That's
never do that with
exactly how
my
I was taught.
I never do
And
that with my words. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So
Well, censorship comes to some people very easily. They can censor themselves, but maybe not others. So,
I'm good at
any,
not draw. I'm good at not cussing if I don't need. If I'm not supposed to. Like if I'm in the at work or in the presence of. I know how not to cuss in front of others. I can express myself freely and expressively and clearly and concisely without cussing or cursing. But other than that, even when I want to throw out an expletive, uh, I'll pause and I'll think of a funny word that goes in its place,
mm,
depending on where I'm at. But yeah, no, I mean, what you hear, what you see, and what you hear is what you get with me, and you too. I know you're very much that way.
yeah, and I'm proud to be that way, but it doesn't always serve me. Let's put it that way.
No, there's times where you would think by my age I would have learned this shit by now. There's times where I
Yeah,
really shouldn't be. Not everything. Lately I've found that I've had a little bit more reservations with stuff with that though. But it's only been in one realm with my wife. I've
nice choice.
noticed I've noticed that I've been with her for 25 plus years now that I know of I shouldn't say that in front of her. It's kind of like cursing. I know I shouldn't curse in front of the kids or in front of mixed company or whatever. So it's like that. I know I shouldn't say this in front of my wife because she wouldn't appreciate it.
Right.
And half the time it's stuff that people would look at me like, "Oh, what was that? Where did that come from?" Or it would be one of those free moments. Like I thought of something the other day, and I'll do it. I'll sit there and I get joke Tourette. Somebody will say something, or I'll hear something, and it will trigger a thought or a phrase in my head, and I'll want to say it aloud. And if it's something that, especially like nowadays, Christine doesn't want to talk about any Trump shit. But if it has anything to do with Trump, or if it's a joke that she wouldn't like, or something really funny I thought of. So the other day, I do it quite often. Something was said on TV or something we were doing, and it triggered a thought. And instead of saying it, I laughed. I'm like, like that. And she goes, and she's getting better too, because usually she would go, "What?" Now she just looks and goes, "Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
not saying it." Because I know you were going to say something crude or rude or shocking. It's usually crude, rude, or shocking. And
it's a
I'll just
good
kind of,
combination.
yeah.
If you have to play the game, might as well have a triple header.
Well, yeah. Well, and I mean, and so like I said, I pride myself on no filter. I want to think freely, and as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, other than speaking truth to power, because I think when I talk bad about someone like Trump, I don't think he's at home crying that Paul Brumbaugh has made some comments on something he's done in his life. I don't think I'm the you know the bane of his existence. I don't know
No,
how to
but
explain it.
Colbert and the rest of the
Yeah, no,
top notch.
those guys have an audience. Those guys have writers. Those guys have fact checkers. They've got, not that I can't be smart and think of stuff, but my audience um is a handful versus millions. So, and that's
Mm.
okay. That's okay. Don't worry, Ziggy. We'll make it one of these days. What do they say? You're going to be a millionaire in about a million days, $1 a day.
A
In
million years.
in a million years, that too. Wow, that's a little bit more dismal than I thought.
It's a little more of a challenge
So
of
we were talking
attention.
about Rebecca Ward Kennedy, rest in peace. Danny and her friends and family, much love go out to you guys. We should never lose
And
another
I want to
person.
send my love, not my love, but my condolences to
Yeah.
her ex-husband, John Kennedy, who in the days that I talked about 35 years ago, um, was doing comedy with her before they split.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, a very dry guy. And he,
And his name was John Kennedy.
yes, it
Wow,
was.
what a tough act to follow.
It was. But he had no Marilyn Monroe pressure on him.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
he didn't have to keep that from Rebecca.
So, were they a duo?
Yeah, I no, they had separate acts,
They had
and
separate acts. Okay, okay. Got you.
but you know when you do comedy, as you very well know, there's a group of folks who show up to the same gigs over and over and over again, and they become an extended family. And how they do um, is secondary how they do on stage to how their life goes. And you
Right.
communicate with these people because you're all only up for 10, 20 minutes at most
Right.
per night. And you hang with these folks. And she was one of those people who were easy to hang with. She wasn't critical, a good person. She'll be missed. You know, it seems like the older I get, um, we're paying homage to one person, one dead person after another. How
Yeah,
many
no,
people have you?
it's sad, dude. I get it. I'm afraid to answer a phone, open a mailbox, turn on social media. Um, yeah, no, it's sad. I guess that as we get older, and I mean people die when they're young too, but as we get older, more and more and more and more of our friends, families, neighbors, whatever, they pass. It's just the longer we stay, the more of them that go before us. And so I get it. It sucks. But what's the
Yeah.
alternative? Are we one of the numbers? And so keep me on this earth and kicking and screaming as long as possible. I don't want to see everybody I know and love leave this earth, but um, you know,
Not much you
I
can
mean,
do about it.
no,
Speaking of death,
exactly.
speaking of early death, my son Philip's mother died 10 years ago to this date. Diane Satin, um, a PhD, a professor at Cal State Hayward. Uh, just a terrible loss. She had lupus for a
Mm.
lot of years, home dialysis. Um, she went through hell,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say, isn't lupus kind of like almost like a cancer where it just rattles your body and rattles your mind and it screws
oh
you?
yeah, it affects every organ of your body. And
Wow.
with her was her kidneys, and she had to have heart bypass at one time, and she still maintained a loving relationship with her kid and her adopted kid Philip Christopher, and was an influence on their life. And you know, it's strange. 10 years we had been estranged. 15 years before that, but I miss her, and
Right.
not just you know, one misses people for the strangest reasons. And with her, I miss her goodness. So continue to rest in peace, Diane Satin, if
There
you
you go.
would. And wow, this is exciting. You gotta talk about shit like this because
No,
it's
you
life.
do. You really do. What else is stuck in your craw?
Well, what sticks in my craw is the fact that three-quarters of the people in the United States want Trump out, and they can't find a way to come to some sort of agreement on impeachment. And you know what? Amendment 25 won't do it because it won't include the other members of his cabinet. So um, people like J.D. Vance and the little Nazi will still be there after it. So we got to get him impeached. And what can be done about that? How long is that going to take? He still has the codes to the nuclear armament, and that scares me
Oh,
because
here's what scares me. I just read something that scares me. Oh
and
no.
if Paul Brumbach
So
can be scared, we all should be scared.
shit. I just read the headline of it and it scared me. So earlier I was watching CNN, I believe, in a blurb, and it was telling me, it was saying that um, so we were just talking about AI, and this is a great follow-up. There's so many different AI platforms. The AI platform that we were using earlier is ChatGPT. It's probably the most widely used free chat platform on the planet currently. Um, Other than something like Llama, which is Meta, which is Facebook's version of it, because everybody and their mother has used Llama on Facebook at some point for something, probably. So, anyway, everybody's got a pony in the race, everybody's got a horse in the race, and even the crazy Elon Musk has his own AI platform, and it's actually a companion partner to the platform X, and it's called Grok. And I was listening to CNN, I believe, earlier, and they were saying that Grok is now being outlawed in like two different countries in the world, and I forget where they referenced, but they said that they don't want Grok. They don't want people to have access to Grok. Grok is also, if you go back 8 months ago, people were typing certain things into Grok, this AI from what used to be Twitter, which is now X, and it was spitting out all this anti-Semite stuff. And it was saying, I think it was the one saying something about, it called itself Mega Hitler or Mecha Hitler or something.
Oh,
And so that's when you were asking me earlier, do I think AI is a good thing? Yeah, it's a great thing for technology, but it's a scary thing for mankind. Yeah, I mean, 10 months ago, Grok was basically got racist and was an anti-Semite and started spewing some nasty shit out on the internet. And here's a machine. It's a machine generating comments that would have never happened if it wasn't for it and someone prompting it to be this way. So, what I just read, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, the guy that's the head of our military, announced the integration of Elon Musk's AI platform, Grok, into military networks as part of a new AI acceleration strategy during a visit to SpaceX, which is his aeronautical rocket company. They're gonna have his rockets, which are dangerous as shit. I've seen some. We could play a collage of how many of Elon Musk's rockets have blown up,
really?
and they were unmanned. But I think he blew up 4 or 5 rockets that were worth billions of dollars. just trying to become the next NASA, the private owned NASA, rocket company. So he's got that company. He's got the Grok, which is the AI bot, which is doing all this really scary shit. And then Hegseth's gonna integrate it into our military networks? Are you kidding? This is like a bad movie. This is literally like a bad sci-fi movie where AI takes over and kills us all. Literally. And so that shit right there, yeah, no, you were saying, does any of this shit scare me? Do me a favor and reset your mic for me again. But literally, that is it. That is it right there. It literally, it's that kind of maneuver that's like, for one, thank you. I think you got closer. There we go. Hey, it went away. Right on. Oh, let's see here. That's better. Yes, it is. So, yeah, it's scary. It's scary that we're integrating AI into military systems, especially when we're at this stage of AI development. We shouldn't be integrating any AI products into military systems. I quite honestly, you know what I like? Those movies when it takes the two people with two separate keys and separate parts of the panel or separate parts of the room have to turn the keys at the same time. Like that kind of fail-safe shit. And it has to be manual. Fuck. That's why I still have 1 foot in the analog world, 1 foot in the digital world, because we know people make mistakes. And machines make mistakes or computers make mistakes because they were programmed by people. But if they start having, and I just told you about AI, you have to go over that material anyway. And people are so lazy nowadays. If you don't do your due diligence and verify whatever AI kicks out at you before you put something online, then those are just words. Imagine if it's codes to missiles going to countries or fail safes to keep your missiles in the silos, and you've got a anti-Semite war machine in the shape of AI that'll file. I'm gonna fire these off at Israel or whatever. Really? What? Hey, hold on.
Yeah, and
But
that's another topic that's, you said, what sticks in my craw.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, Netanyahu is basically Trump, and Trump is basically Netanyahu.
Oh yeah.
And
They're definitely pretty much the same dicks. The same dictators.
yeah,
So,
and as someone who grew up as a Jew, naturally, but the kind of Jew, because it was so close to when I was born, 1949, when Palestine became Israel. And I was one of those kids that would sell tickets to plant a tree in Israel. And as a Jew, it was very sacred. And the government, like the government of that we live in, has just simply disappointed. And to the point where it's genocide what they're doing in Gaza. And uh, and Trump keeps sending more money. And if you ever want to hear some clips, Bernie Sanders will tell you about Israel and what's going on.
right.
And but on a human level, whether or not how many people are lost, this or that, it's sad for a Jew to be going through this and seeing what we as Jews in 1949 hope to have a land that we could be safe at. And now we are making it difficult for other people in society, when I say we, the government, to be safe. It's best word. It's tragic.
Right. No, I'm with you. I got you.
So,
And we're at that point in our and we're at a moment in history where things are really kind of teetering, if they will. You know,
yeah,
it's very volatile. It's very unstable. Um, and here we have a dictator. We literally have a dictator because he's sitting here rattling off countries like it's a shopping list. You know, it's Venezuela, it's Colombia, it's China, it's Greenland. What? So anyway, so we're at
and
this
how
point
about the
where it's just
countries that
ridiculous.
are in our hemisphere?
Right.
What does that? I
Well, even
read
yeah, what was
something.
it yesterday? They said that he put a screenshot that he posted that he's now the new acting president of Venezuela on Wikipedia.
uh, and
And
that's all without Congress's approval.
right, of course it
All of it.
is. Oh yeah, for sure.
So when are they going to stand up and impeach the fucker? That's
You know what? You know what I think they're thinking is it's kind of like what he said the other day in whatever press conference that he was having is that if we lose the midterms, Republicans, they're gonna find any reason to impeach us. Yeah, the only reason they
yeah.
don't. Well, hold on. I think the only reason they don't want to start impeachment proceedings is that they don't have the House. They don't have Congress. They don't have the House. They don't have the numbers. So if they start these impeachment things, they're just gonna lose.
Well, check on that next week because they're slowly but surely getting the numbers that they need.
Right.
And
I think that's part of their part of the Democrat strategy. For one, they're running out the clock. But like even last weekend, he did so many things just last weekend that people are still reeling, and they will be for weeks. The shit he did last weekend.
hey, to say nothing of the ICE
Right.
incident,
Right. The
um,
Minneapolis thing, the ICE incident, the all the stuff he's been saying about all these different countries, including Colombia, China, Greenland, uh, even like what did they say? I just saw that he's basically saying that um, Trump says he's open to letting China and Russia buy oil from the U.S. in Venezuela. How do you think that's gonna go over with Putin?
well,
And so I don't know, man. He's pushing buttons. He's doing these crazy things. Um, and that again, this is just over the weekend. We are being viewed as the ugly Americans across around the globe. We always were kind of pushy or rude or boisterous or fat. We've always been viewed that way, right? The land of excess, the land of freedom. Um, but now we're being viewed as tyrants and dictators and um, yeah, you know,
hmm,
I think he's trying to put himself in the same places like um who
like
took a lot of
Hitler
land.
and Mussolini.
Yeah, Hitler, Mussolini, any of these people that were land grabbers.
Uh,
And so now he's yeah, it's scary. So
but it's nothing new. We
no.
were founded by racist slave owners and imperialists, and it's it's only been 250 years. So tradition dies very slowly, and what struck me the other day is as much as his popularity is fading, Trump's, 41% of the people out there, people we run into grocery shopping, just humanity, are still behind this fucker.
Right.
Um, we got problems. We got problems.
Yeah. There's trouble in River City,
Yeah.
and that's trouble with a capital T.
And rhymes with P and it stands for Paul.
Yeah, it stands for Paul. No, it was pool. They were worried about the pool hall. Holy
That
shit,
was
they were worried about the pool hall where all these people would be shooting pool.
Balzac. Balzac. The library. He left all the books to her in the library. One of my favorite plays, movies, what have you, was um, that show,
The Music Man?
The Music Man.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
yeah,
Rex Harrison is the Music Man.
absolutely. And Stubby K played a role in that. And it was just a delightful 3 hours of viewing, or whatever it was.
It's one of those
But
things that if you're a film buff in any way that you need to see. It's one of those things that if you like, I write screenplay pitches all the time. I'm proud to have written a lot of screenplay pitches. It would be great if I could actually write a screenplay. But Jesus. Oh, what do
well,
you
it
do?
shows
I write
through.
screenplay pitches. Really? Who do you pitch? No one. I literally have like I think 4 or 5 in the hopper now, and they're all really good ideas. And I even translated one to a little bit more current, updated it a little bit so it made a little bit more sense. Um, and so yeah no, but yeah, get back. We were talking about this, but yeah, exactly.
Let me just say one thing about AI and its effect on Facebook's groups.
Okay.
There are a lot of new, and all I know is baseball.
Okay.
There's a lot of new groups on Facebook that use AI, and their material is very helpful. But there's always one little glaring error, it seems, that they make. Whatever it is, um, they get the league they were playing in wrong. Um, it's just something humans
Yeah,
need to
it's always something really you would think is
subtle.
insignificant, but it's actually sometimes it's something major. Like you said, they were played in the National League. No, they were in the American League or whatever.
Right.
Right.
Um,
And so you definitely
so,
got to go back and read AI and only take it for what it's worth and definitely fact check it. Um, know what AI you're using, and it's kind of like a trusted friend. You either trust it or you don't. And that's why I was like, why are they trusting Grok, which we already know has had issues with military shit? That's the wrong thing. I don't know. That's kind of like having someone that's known for embezzling managing your money.
yes.
Oh,
And
Mr. Madoff, can you hold on to my piggy bank for me? You know.
I'll be glad to help you. We can give you anything.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I
Um,
mean, so it's stuff like that. It's like, oh, so
Hey, one more thing sticking in my craw, Paul,
uh,
and then I'll let you have your way with the control of today's podcast.
all right.
And that is people who forget what they were going to say. Pisses me off. We'll be back to it. Come on. Do a little
Did you take a walk into the other room and forget what you were getting? Okay, I gotcha. That's all
I
right.
sometimes you forget where the other room is.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
and
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna mute you out. We're
do
all
some
lawyered.
business. Do
I'm
some
gonna
business.
I'm gonna do some business. I'm gonna mute you. Hey folks, as Ziggy likes to say, we're all lawyered up. And this is the let's play the thrills that pays the bills. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll be back after this, guys. Whether it's criminal defense, estate planning, or civil litigation, the answer is the law offices of Andrew Doja. Call us today at 510-865-1600 or find us on the web at dojalaw.com.
For tenant and landlord disputes, there's no other than the law office of Jeff Canberra. Call now 1-510-865-7369 and don't forget to tell them Zig sent you.
All right, guys, and don't forget, like, subscribe, ring that little bell wherever podcasts can be seen and heard. That's right, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch, guys. Go like, subscribe, ring that little bell. You'll be notified when another episode drops onto one of those platforms. So, again, and Ziggy, it's that time of day. Tell us about Zig Says, bud.
Well, Zig says we got to take care of children. And an excellent way to do that is to give freely of your books, lightly used children's books or new books, wrap them up, take them to the Head Start program in your community. And you will be offering not only reading instruction for these kids, but development of a passion. And Paul will agree with me on this, that it's much better to go through life as a passionate person. And give your books. How best can you help the future of this country? And it's a tax write-off. You could have a community event wherever you live to raise the books, and it's doing the best you can for humanity. And that's my pitch.
You know, and I agree with you. So this is one thing I say, guys. Read a book to a child. Then a child will be reading their own book, and before you know it, they'll be reading it themselves, and before you know it, they'll be reading it to someone else. And so,
To you.
yeah, till you even, right? As a parent, I remember my kids reading books to me before they even remembered the words. They would remember that I'd read whatever book a million times, and they would kind of remember what the pictures were. And like I could think of, like, my kids really liked Dr. Seuss. There was multiple books they really liked at different times. There was always like, read this book, Brown Bear, a lot of the different like the Little Prince, all the different Dr. Seuss books. Oh, Are You My Mother? That was one they really liked. And so, which was funny it was about this bird that had dropped out of his nest, out of his tree, and lost his way. And he walks through not the forest, but the community. And he comes upon all these different creatures and asking if they're his mother. And so my kids would, what was the other one? PJ Funny Bunny. Anyway, I remember all these crazy books. So my kids grew up with literacy and grew up with the love of reading and books and characters, and each one of them became a very well-rounded individual that has no problem expressing themselves. And I think that's what literacy and book reading do for people. You read a book, you might write a book one day. It's a beautiful thing. So, yes, give to your local Head Start program. And you guys already know where to find us on social media. And we're at the 1 hour mark, Ziggy. We made it. We made it home free, bud.
Well, let me just add one thing to the book
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
Help your kid develop an ideology through reading.
Right.
Start with an anti-war and ideology.
Okay.
Excuse me. Read a book called Johnny. Read to your kid or have your kid learn and read it, called Johnny Got Your Gun or Gets His Gun.
Johnny, get your gun.
Right. In 1935, it was an anti-war book.
Right.
And very poignant. I won't spoil it for anybody. Even as an adult, read that book, especially before taking your kid down to the recruiters and the military recruiters. Avoid that as best you can.
All right. So, Johnny Got His Gun tells the story of Joe Bonham, a young American soldier in World War I, who, after being hit by a shell, awakens to find he has lost his arms, legs, eyes, and ears, mouth, and nose, becoming a prisoner in his own mind. Forced to relive memories and struggle for his communication until he begs to be euthanized as a living monument to war's horror. A request denied, leaving him in a state of living death, repeating SOS. There you go. Johnny got his gun. Was that a movie?
Beautiful. It was a book. I don't know if it was a movie.
There you go. It was a film. There you go. Yeah, Any War Statement, a powerful critique of the absurdity and dehumanizing effects of war, published before World War II and becoming a Vietnam War protest symbol. There you go. All right,
give
guys.
Give your kids something to read about if they're going to read.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to hand this off to a 6-year-old, but, you know.
Right. Right.
There you go.
But a 7-year-old, but if a 7-year-old asks what war is about, you got some ammunition there. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ziggy, we're going to get out of here like only we can. You guys, please like, subscribe, follow me on all social media. It's right there, Paul Brumbaugh. Go like, subscribe, follow me on social media. If I am performing comedy or slinging the truth, please comment. Let us know what's happening with you. Also, everything that Edge Studios does, Edge Studios or Edge Studios Online. Again, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, you got it. We're out there. And then Ziggy, give one more shout out and let's get out of here like only you can, bud.
Hey, I just want to shout out to all the people I would miss if they were gone. And I want to tell them right now how they're appreciated. They know who they are, but hearing it from me is important that you do.
All right, guys. Until next week, stay in the zone. We'll see you then.
Thank you again, Paulie.
You got it, Ziggy. We'll see you guys.